Almost $1 trillion. That's how much market value has been wiped out across SaaS and software, according to a recent industry analysis that some are calling a SaaS apocalypse. Headlines are dramatic, almost $1 trillion gone. But here's what I think is actually happening. This is not just an overvaluation. This is not just interest rates. This is not AI hype. The web itself is splitting in two. And when infrastructure shifts underneath an industry, valuations reset. In this video, I'm going to explain what's really happening under the surface, what an agent actually is and how it's different from a chatbot, why major infrastructure players are preparing for a different kind of web than we're used to, and what you should do about it, whether you're a CEO, an operator, or just someone making decisions in a changing economy, because this shift is not cosmetic, it's structural. First of all, what is an agent? Before we go further, we need to define something clearly. An LLM like ChatGPT predicts text. It answers questions. It generates content. But an agent is different. An agent can read. It can make decisions. It can take action, transact, and repeat that cycle autonomously. It doesn't just respond, it executes. And that execution requires infrastructure. You cannot have agents operating in the real world without payment rails, structured content, secure execution environments, guardrails, identity systems, and fraud systems redesigned for software. And in February 2026, multiple major infrastructure players made moves in that exact direction. And that's not a coincidence, that's alignment. The web is splitting into two webs. There is the human web, the one that we are used to. It's visual, it's page-based, it's built for browsing. And then there's the agent web. This is structured, programmable, and it's built for software to read and act on. Now, let's look at the infrastructure signals. Stripe, one of the largest global payment processors powering millions of businesses, launched the Agentic Commerce Suite. Stripe isn't just a startup experiment. Stripe processes hundreds of billions in payment volume annually. They introduced shared payment tokens so agents can initiate transactions safely without ever seeing card data. That is a redesign of payment primitives for software buyers. Cloudflare, which influences roughly 20% of global web traffic, launched Markdown for agents. That means that websites can now automatically serve structured content directly to AI systems. OpenAI didn't just release a new model, they released infrastructure, reusable skills, shell-based secure execution containers, and compaction systems for long-running workflows. That means agents can operate in controlled environments with guardrails, run code, and produce outputs safely. That's not chat, that's controlled execution. Microsoft introduced Copilot Checkout, and Google introduced Universal Commerce Protocol. That means that commerce is moving into conversation and being standardized for agents. These are not random experiments. These are the companies that define internet standards. When Stripe, Cloudflare, Microsoft, Google, and OpenAI all shift in the same direction within months, that's infrastructure being laid. Okay, so why does this reprice SaaS? Historically, SaaS has been valued around per-seat licensing, human workflows, page-based interfaces, and subscription models. But what happens when the user is software? When agents read structured data directly, compare vendors instantly, execute purchases, and replace multiple tools with one orchestrated workflow, you don't just get efficiency, you get compression. Compression of margins, middle layers, redundant features, and interface-heavy products. Markets reprice redundancy quickly, and that is what you're seeing. It's not AI replacing everyone, it's infrastructure shifting beneath existing business models, and investors can see it. The old Webflow looked like this. Humans interacted with the website and then went to checkout. The new flow looks like this. Humans use an agent to transact. Microsoft is embedding checkout inside of Copilot, and Google is standardizing commerce for agents. This means buying decisions may increasingly happen before a human ever lands on your website. If your SaaS product depends on page visits, UI interaction, or manual workflows, this is something to pay attention to. The content layer is moving. The human web was built for eyes. The agent web is built for structure. Cloudflare's Markdown conversion signals something important. Software reading websites is becoming normal, and if software becomes the primary reader, then SEO becomes structured data optimization. Design becomes secondary to machine readability, and interfaces become endpoints. That changes value creation. OpenAI's roadmap matters because it introduces controlled execution environments. Agents can now install dependencies, run scripts, generate deliverables, and operate inside secure containers. That requires safety systems, network allow lists, secret management, and real guardrails. This isn't chaos, this is formalization. If you are a leader, look at your business in a new way. Ask yourself, do we make money when things are slow or hard? Because things are about to get a lot easier. Do we charge for each person using the tool? Because that no longer makes sense. Do people have to click through a lot of screens? Because that's no longer necessary. Is our value hidden behind menus and buttons? Agents don't like friction, and they will skip steps. If you want your product to be discoverable by agents, it needs to be easily read by software. If it's not, it might get skipped. The winners will make their systems clear and easy for machines to use, and the losers will try to protect page view. Let's bring that down to operators and workers. If you run teams or you manage systems, look for tasks that repeat. Agents will move into those areas of work first, like comparing vendors, creating reports, buying supplies, matching numbers, filling out standard contracts. If you are an individual worker, your role does not disappear. It just changes. Agents are very good at doing the same task over and over. They are not good at making hard judgment calls, handling messy problems, building trust, knowing the right decision from the wrong one, and leading in hard times. Your value moves up a level. You guide the system, you check the system, you design the system, but you don't ever compete with it again on simple tasks. But here's the bigger question. The web is splitting. One part is for people and one part is for software. They use the same internet, but they serve different kinds of users. So here's the real question. When software can read, think, pay, and act, who is really in charge? Is it the person using the system, or is it the person who built the system? And if most people don't understand how everything works, who will shape the future? This is Web 4.0, and Web 4.0 is not just about tools. It is about control. Will you help design the system, or will you live inside of a system that someone else created for you?